the Canadian trucker freedom convoy. There's been a lot of perspectives on it.
Contrary to some, there are thousands of passionate, patriotic, and peaceful Canadians on the Hill right now who just want to be heard. Will the Prime Minister extend an olive branch, and will he listen?
The truckers took it and made it something different altogether. They made it into a convoy of freedom and love. There's pictures today of people holding hands and singing and...
I think this one moment captures the whole thing hands down, not only for them, but for around the world. And this one moment says it all. Check it out.
Like, this is the time where we all work together. We need you guys to make a choice as well today to stand with us to make this change. Amen. We have so much going on right now. We have so much support right now. You guys can decide to say F you to your superiors and say we're not doing this anymore.
It's happened in other police forces.
You know,
this clip is from Rebel News, and of course I'm using it with fair use, but please do check out the link in the description and give them support either through attention or monetary or otherwise, because they are on the ground with the convoy and they're doing a great job. They captured this footage and it's just, for me, amazing. It really says it all because you've got things like this going on.
The Ottawa police, they want military intervention, but authorities are concerned. They're saying that these protesters may be armed.
But in a lot of ways, it's clearer than ever the manipulation that's going on. What makes this different is that all of the world is watching and it affects all of us. You have protests from around the world and it's like, okay, these people are protesting and so on. But this captures a moment that has affected us for the last couple of years. And it comes down to a choice each of us has to make in terms of freedom versus tyranny. It really is that simple. The choices you make at an individual level, whether it be the tow truck driver that calls in sick instead of towing trucks, or the officer who finally says, okay, how far do I have to go before I question authority? Before I question the authority that says I must do this, how far do they go before they just are just doing their job versus saying, okay, how does this affect me, my fellow man, not only now, but for generations to come? And it really is that simple. We're having to make a choice on an individual and collective level about the freedoms we have versus the tyranny that's coming down our throat each and every day. These last couple of years have made it more obvious, but it's always been there historically. And our history is ripe with all these different manipulations. Whether you call them conspiracies or not, the light becomes clear when you see and make connections. Just these last couple of years, the misinformation that comes out that ends up being directly from the authorities. That's a choice I think each of us has to make in this ongoing battle, which isn't really a traditional war, but it may get kinetic in some respects. So this is a choice each of us has to make. And these truckers are making that choice. Support them, definitely, but also support those people who finally say, okay, I'm going to question authority. I'm going to say, okay, what does this really mean? And instead of saying, okay, I'm doing my job today, say, how does what I'm doing connect with a much larger picture? The more and more people who look at the larger picture and realize their cog in the wheel can disrupt the machine in a beneficial way should definitely be making that choice today, not tomorrow, not years from now, not in the past, but today, right now. They're pushing back and we're seeing a lot of support, tons of support.
There's all kinds of cooking going on the street, even though it's like so cold here, and they're handed out food to just whoever needs it. And yeah, it's a lot different, obviously, that it's being portrayed.
I believe the next level that we need to prepare ourselves for are false flag events within the trucker community that make it seem like they are the ones who are actually causing harm to people and property, where there's a general disregard for the basic principles of humanity, of being kind to others, of actually living on this planet instead of just saying me, me, me. So that will come, and we need to be prepared for it so that we can shed light upon it and see it for what it is, a false flag event. False flags are one of the traditional things that the media and governments have used time and time again to galvanize people against a movement, a protest, whatever you might call it. Hands down, it will happen here, and it will make it look like the truckers are the ones who are instigating it. By no means are they doing that. We need to prepare for that event before it happens and call it out when it happens right away, and support those people on the ground right there who can show that it's not the case, that it's being spun, that it makes it look like the truckers are militant. They're anything but that. They're for society. They're for our choice. The lack of choice is what has caused this craziness in the world. And the more we let it go on, the deeper it's going to divide us, and it will just tear us all apart. So now is a time to make a stand. Definitely support the Rebel News and other places that are basically sharing all this information, so we can have people on the ground showing the reality of things, rather than the news agencies which spin it towards fear, suppression, terror, and so. So if you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a like. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time.